click the button. ANC on, ANC off, ambience. Okay, so I have bought my two headphones from Baseus, and this is the H1i and this is the H1pro. The reason I bought both of these is because from the specs I see, they are almost the same thing. So I'm very curious on like what's the difference between them, because it is like almost like $20 difference also. Yeah, and it seems like the one that's supposed to be the non-pro has like 100 hours of playtime compared to this thing has like about 80 or something like that. But other than that, it's almost the same thing. And I did put a poll and somebody responded that they want to see the H1i first. So let's do the unboxing for this baby. Okay, so this is the H1i from Baseus, and the front is pretty basic with the caption of music that inspires. And as you can see here, it has a high-res audio wireless and also high-des audio. And it has LHDC, which is basically the LDAC that you will connect compared to the standard AAC or the SBC. And it says here the selling point is it have 100 hours battery life. And on the side is their social medias, and also the other side is their Smart Connect, which is probably their app, and the Baseus Immersion Spatial Acoustics, which is basically is probably the same as my Ugreen Max 5C here. So I don't know, we will see how it sounds later. So behind is just the standard specification in different languages, which is basically, it says here it has a Bluetooth 5.3, 100 hours of battery at 70% with noise reduction off, and 70 hours at 70% volume with noise reduction on. And it has Type C, and it also has 600 milliamp hours. Is exactly the same as this headphone. So other than that, let's open it up. Boop. Very easy. This is the headphone, and inside here you have the user manual, and here you have the stickers if you want to do whatever with it. As you can see, it's quite interesting. And here you have two cables, which is one is the headphone jack, 3.5 to 3.5 the jack, and also the Type C to USB cable, because this should have a headphone jack compared to the Ugreen Max 5C, which does not have, but it can connect in USB-C to C. Other than that, there's pretty much nothing else here. Okay, there's nothing else here other than the headphone itself, which is the same padding as my Ugreen Max 5C. And here it is. It has a protector here, right? Let me give you the sound if you like. Yeah, so it's very glossy right here. Let's put all the other stuff out of the way. And let's see the headphone itself. I can see it's a very cheap. It feels quite cheap in terms of the plastic, and it's quite flimsy, I must say. And it is foldable, as you can see, and it has a name Baseus right here, and you can swerve only one side. The bottom, as you can see, it has a 3.5 jack with orange accent Type C. The right side here, it has a volume button here and the power button. On the other side, you have the ANC on and off, which is quite interesting because it's not a button but it's a slider button. As you can see, if I click here, it will be black. If I click there, it will be red. I assume if red means it is ANC on, and this way is ANC off. So it's a very different kind of design compared to the Max 5C, which is a physical clicky button compared to a slider. So on the side to side comparison between the Max 5C, as you can see, this guy is way more premium and it feels more solid compared to this Baseus because it's very thin, even though there's a metal strip right here, but mainly is plastic. But you can see the thinness compares to the Max 5C. The Max 5C is way more premium. Even the padding here, it is more thinner compared to the Max 5C right here. Even if I compare with my edifier right here, the 830, is still, this is thinner. The side here is super glossy and it can pick up scratches very easily. Quite interesting how they design it. And other than that, the cushion wise, I still prefer the Max 5C because it is way softer compared to the H1, which is probably is a lesser quality cushion. So I would say this feels outdated lah, I guess, because first of all, it has the headphone jack here and the build quality is very thin. So for the price, because it is slightly cheaper compared to the Max 5C, probably I would like to I will have to test whether it's worth it or not lah. Or you just top up a few more dollars to get the Max 5C. And you can see the Max 5C, can clearly see the L and R, while the Baseus here barely can see lah. You can see L and R. Other than that, that's all from me. So let's see what the Nash gonna say about the sound quality. I have already tried this headphone for like almost a day and a half, and I would say that this headphone is more of a hit and a miss kind of headphone, where for some reason there are things that I like, but there is a lot of things that they actually don't really do that well. So like for example, initially I remembered that this headphone was cheaper than the Max 5C, which I was completely wrong, because if I check the price right now without the flash sale and stuff, this headphone and this headphone is just few dollars off, and this headphone is slightly cheaper. For the experience of the headphone and the material feels, I would actually rather use the Max 5C than the H1i, which is quite disappointing lah, because the first impression of this, I can feel like the material is a bit flimsy and it's very thin lah. Maybe they try to save cost. And I would say that their entire selling point about this headphone is that their hinge, right, because it has metal here, right, their bending point here, as you can see here, is actually quite well designed, which is quite a shame, because in terms of the clip, like from the bend to the lock, right, it is very strong and it's actually quite firm compared to some of the headphone where you just shake a bit, it will straight away goes down. And I mean, like, you can hear how loud the click is. Yeah, that is how loud the click is compared to the Max 5C of when I bend and I don't bend. Like, you can hear the click is more clearer for this headphone compared to the Max 5C. And my initial first impression because of that is I thought like, oh, okay, maybe they try to cut costs here and there, and because of that this headphone will be a bit better. But it's sad to say that because they cut too much corners in the material in terms of the plastic, the leather and the materials, this thing feels quite uncomfortable for my head. Someone who has a smaller head probably will be okay, because when I wear it, it just nice fit on the ears. And because usually what I would do is I will use it on the bed first to lie down to see how much it will start to pull back to like represent like if I lean back, like if I decide to sleep on the bus or in the train, to see how much it will start to bend back downwards. And compared to all of the headphone I ever tried, and mind you, I have like almost 4 to 5 headphone I tried, and like I have the Max 5C here, the Edifier DW820NB, the Q20i, the Razer Barracuda, and also the Sennheiser Momentum 4. And I also have the Sony's. Out of all of the headphones I try, this could be the possibly the one that makes the most movement. When I lean down, it feels like it is pulling back completely, because I don't know, I don't know whether is it because of the clamp wasn't good enough, or it's just because of the padding is too thin that it is not gripping on my ears. It's quite a shame, because the sound quality when I try, right, is quite, I would say is almost on close to on par with the Max 5C, but it's just the material is quite thin that is very difficult to feel the very sweet spot of your ear. So I will spend like more than 5-10 minutes trying to adjust open close open close open close on both sides to get that nice fitting. It's very annoying, and because the fact that I'm wearing my wearing spectacles here, it pressed on my ear so hard that after a while, right, due to the cushion being very thin, it will keep on pressing on my ear and become very uncomfortable and not very nice. So unless you are really have that very sweet spot that it doesn't press on the spectacles. This is probably someone who has a slightly smaller head than mine, because I have a massive head. So that is that. But the sound quality wise is not too bad, because it is a bit bassier and punchy, and it is not as like flat compared to the 820 and B, but I would say it's not as bassy or louder than this headphone, this Max 5C, because I sometimes in the train or in the bus, I would like them to try to crank up the sound as much as I can, but it feels like the maximum volume for this is just not enough for me. Maybe just one more or two more clicks would be nice, but unfortunately that's all I can get with. And the connectivity is actually quite quick, because all you got to do is just press this button and it just goes with a beep. And usually other headphones will be like, you have beep, then you can hear oh connected or whatever. This thing is very simple. It heard beep first time, the connected, beep the second time. It's like immediately like beep beep, immediately you know it's connected. But I mean, like if you have a voice would be nicer, but you paid what you get, you pay for lah, which I don't really mind. But because of the design here of the headphone, which is like a rectangular, the button placement is a bit strange to me lah, because it doesn't feel very natural, because when you wear the headphone like this, your finger will try to hit somewhere here, like somewhere at the back here. But for this button it will be, if slightly lower, like somewhere slightly below here, it will be better. Like for the power button to be like somewhere here, and the the volume buttons to be slightly here, then it will be more accessible, because I'm not used to this headphone. I'm like trying to figure out where's the button there are. Especially the problem is the ANC button right here. It's very simple, as off, you switch, it's on, like just immediately, instead of you click the button, ANC on, ANC off, ambience. Yeah, it will take forever. Like something like this click is very simple. It's just immediately like pop, you are immediately in noise cancelling mode without having any sound needed. You just immediately know, yes, ANC on. You click, yes, it's ANC off. It's as easy as that. So it's like I don't know, it's just this simple thing that makes your life nicer, I guess. And this thing, I'm not sure, it might be metal or plastic, but other than that, like, it feels if I put side by side the weight, right, is it feels this headphone is slightly lighter. And next is the app, right? For the app wise, I would say it's very disappointing. It is very simple. I mean, like, when the first time I used the app itself, I was actually amazed, right? This is the first time that I use a headphone that there's actually request me to actually upgrade the software of the headphone. Like, immediately pop up, it say, hey, this is a new update in your headphone, please update it. So you can see like there, I don't know, is it there or there? Yeah, there's a pop up to tell me to update, and surprisingly the update is quite massive, I would say, because usually this kind of update I would like expect to be like, wow, like 1 minute or 2 minute update or something like that. This feels like closer to 5 minutes, because it's like it feels forever to get the completion right. It's like I already see the percentage move like every few seconds, like 1, then after that 2, 3, instead of the usual of the 1, 3, 5, 10 all the way to 100%, like top, immediately within few seconds you are done. So I don't know what the update does, but it doesn't initially, because I was playing the song and then upgrading in between, it doesn't really, I don't know what's it's supposed to do lah. Maybe it's supposed to fix the software bug and stuff, but other than that, the software wise it feels very basic. And I mean, like, if you try the headphone, I mean, if you try the app itself here, it connects to your headphone, and it has your spatial acoustics, the equalizer, the gestures. The gestures are pretty basic because it has only like the tap, double tap, triple tap, but it's on your power button. So the tap is on default is play. The double tap, I believe, is the spatial acoustic, and the triple tap is the whether you want to low latency mode or not lah. But when I try to play around with it, it feels like the app is actually a bit buggy lah. So because like a lot of time, if you see that when I press something, it will have this pop up says device is not available. It's quite annoying, to be honest. And gestures wise, you also can try to add your Google Assistant or whatever assistant there is to call, which actually is quite unique compared to other headphones where their AI button is usually not inbuilt on the headphone itself to call. Like, usually use your phone to call, or like I think they last time I remember some of the earpiece last time I had was it already have inbuilt the thing, but you can't really change here. So if you have AI assistant you want to use, it would be nice, but usually I don't really touch any of the gestures. I just leave it as it is. And it has an equalizer, which is, it's quite surprising that for this headphone that it has like a lot more choices to choose from, and it also has a custom equalizer. Out of like all of these headphone I have, this is the only one that I had that actually have a proper slider to tune your headphone to your needs. I would say it's okay if you know what you're doing, but for me, usually I don't play with the slider, so I just play with the defaults. And I would say the sound is very subtle, so I can't really say which one is good. Usually I would just take either the enhanced bass or just the acoustic is about the same. So I was like searching for it. It's like, where is this low latent, I mean the high definition sound mode thingy is not showing here. So initially I thought it's the spatial audio, which is, you can see the thing, like you can see here is the spatial audio, the spatial acoustic. You can choose whether it's a cinema mode or the music mode. And these two mode, when you turn on your equalizer, doesn't work at all, because it says please turn off your equalizer. I mean, please turn off your spatial sound before you change the equalizer. And I don't know what it does, because when I try the music and the movie mode, right, the sound, it sounds worse than with the equalizer on. I don't know what it does, like, to be honest. I tried a few songs to play, like maybe like 4 or 5 songs with the music on, the spatial sound music on and music sound off, and also the cinema mode. For some reason, the cinema mode sounds slightly better than the music mode, which, like, why? Like, what's the purpose of this shit? It's like, out of the three, I would rather just turn it off, which makes the song better compared to if you use the music mode or the cinema mode. It's like, I don't see the purpose of it, because initially I thought it's going to be like the Max 5C, where the spatial sound, where you're going to click on it, is literally, you can feel like you are like, whoa, you are like in a cinema or like in a stage area where you can hear the vocal is in front of you, but the other stuff is like coming out from the sides. This thing, I don't know what was the purpose. Yeah, then that's another issue for it. And I have tried to find that high definition mode, and it turns out that it is in the Bluetooth section, where you go to the Bluetooth settings, you go scroll all the way down, and then you will find there LHDC and also the low latency. I have no idea why it shows there and also shows in the app, where you also have low latency and also you can do the shortcut. So like, why is it everywhere? I mean, like, I didn't really test the low latency, but I could say that I don't really feel a difference, because when I on the LHDC to like play like a very quick game or like touch some settings to hear the beep and sound, it's pretty responsive lah. But I don't really like I don't really see a big difference between the low latency on and low latency off. Maybe I have to test I mean, like, literally just on the game itself, maybe try few rounds to get some feel of it with the latency on and off, but that will be in the future. For now, the LHDC, I try to turn it on and try to turn it off. I don't know, is it me or is the sound quality is roughly the same? Maybe, I guess 0.5 better, or is it like is like a percentage better? I don't really like hear a very much like better sounding experience. Like for like the Max 5C, I could actually hear a difference between when I on the high definition mode and off high definition mode. Like, you can literally hear the background sound, like there's a additional detail compared to that. So I really don't know. It's like, I want to like this headphone. I don't know what's wrong with it. Like is it because it's considered outdated? It's an old headphone, but the pricing doesn't tell me that it is, because it is almost the same price as this Max 5C, and yet when you put side by side, right, it's completely blown away. You know, this Max 5C really is really on another level, and yet you pay lesser for that than this. So the thing is, when you turn on the LHDC, right, the equalizer, that whatever you have set in the app, you can't really change. Like, you can see there in the picture there, it says there, like, you are unable to change until you turn off the LHDC. Yeah, which makes no sense lah, to be honest. Like, I don't know what it does. Like, really, I don't know what it does. Because when I turn it off, and because I just want to know, like, does it really change the sound of the headphone, right? When I turn off the LHDC, I use the custom equalizer and purposely put it on two extreme ends so that I can really hear the sound, whether it affects the equalizer or not. But when I turn it on and off, right, it sounds exactly the same. Like, I thought it's gonna be like they're gonna use its own equalizer or it gonna emphasize more, but no, it's exactly the same. So I don't know if I turn it on or off, does it do anything? Because like when I can see the settings is there, when I turn it off it says AAC, and when I turn it on it will say LHDC. So I thought initially was it going to be says LDAC, but nope, it's LHDC. And I don't know, like I really, other than the hinge mechanism, like the hinge mechanism here and the sound, I don't know what else to like or justify for this headphone. Like it's, I want to I really I'm already lost for words for this headphone. Like, other than that, like the weird part is the software for this headphone is also very buggy, especially when you use LHDC, because sometimes when you press the button it will just say device is not responding. I don't really understand, like what is happening. Like, is it because of the software issue that the headphone is like that, or is it because of the hardware issue the software is like that? Like, I don't know. It's after trying like the entire day, trying to love this headphone. Even I give it a chance to like play it at the maximum volume for several hours in a row to let like whatever sound from average to slightly decent. I still don't really fancy it at all. Like, I would highly recommend to use the ugreen Max 5C more, because it is about the same price and yet you get more bang for your buck for this headphone compared to this. Like, I would say that in terms of the hinge wide, like the tightness, I can say that this headphone can be a bit tighter in the initial part, but after a while it will be more comfortable when you get used to it. While this headphone, that after spend an entire day, I just can't wait to not use it anymore. So it's just like going to be more like just a display piece that can actually use for as a daily driver. So that's all from me for my first impression of this headphone. Like, hopefully the H1 Pro that I bought, it will be a way significant upgrade to this headphone, or else I'm going to be disappointed, man, because like that headphone is few more dollars more expensive than this, and we can't even get close to this headphone. Even I don't even like really expect that headphone quality, but more like the 820NB, which is, I would say, is one of my more favorite headphone, where it's sure the sound is not as good, but it just makes sense. Like, this headphone is practical, but it's a bit more pricey. So that's why, like, I will use the Max 5C, which is my second best headphone. But this headphone, I don't know, man. If you really think about, if you're trying to compare between this headphone and that headphone, I would say just go for the Max 5C if it's cheaper, or even it's on par. That's all from me. And maybe I just try in few more weeks or so to see whether my opinion change over time. And I'm also going to like pit it against the W820MB and also the Soundcore Q20i to see among the three whether this stacks up better, because they are roughly about the same price point, only this guy will be slightly cheaper. So we will see how it goes. And if you like this video and if you want to know that more of this headphone review, I will recommend you to press the subscribe button and maybe hit a like, so I know that you want to listen more about this headphone. And that's all for me. I catch you all next time. See ya.